How do you get a job in public relations today? Your first job. It's not as simple as taking a course on public relations or going to college and majoring in public relations. That's not really what most corporations' PR firms are looking for. Now, way back in 1985, I decided I wanted my first job to be in public relations, and it did give me a grounding for everything I've done ever since. So, if you want to start a career in public relations, I think it can be a great avenue. But everything has changed since 1985, especially my hair. But so many ways of talking to people, communicating, of building relationships with the public has changed. In fact, it's almost entirely different. Here's my recommendation if you want a job, whether it's an entry level job or you're trying to shift from another career into public relations. You've got to understand the times we live in. And these times are all about social media. Yes, major TV networks are still important. Major radio networks are important. But how people communicate, corporations, clients, customers, PR firms, is first and foremost about social media. So you've got to master that because the social media is what often ends up spilling over into mainstream media and broadcast media. So you've got to master that. The good news is you can be a 10th grader in high school and get good at this. You could be 85 years old and living in a retirement home and get really good at this. What it requires is time, focus, attention, experimentation, and these things you can frankly do at any age. Let's say you wanted to work for a top PR firm in your city. Well, one of the things you can do is start following on social media, not just those companies, but anyone who works in those companies. Follow them, read what they're talking about. Look at the clients they're promoting, how they're promoting. Like their comments, add comments to this, ask them questions, build relationships with people in your industry, the industry you want to go into. Next thing you can do is try to be helpful. Repost their links, put a spotlight on it, talk about their clients if it's something you genuinely believe in, genuinely like. Try to put a spotlight on the clients that the PR people are focusing on. Let's say you want to work for the Disney company and you live in Orlando, Florida, or you live in Los Angeles, California, where they have a major presence. Well, then why don't you focus on their new shows, their new movies, and all the publicity that comes out and try to help their public relations people get more media attention? Rebroadcast, retweet things that they do, amplify their message, and build a following. My advice for someone getting in the field today is very different than when I got in 1985. I think you're far better off focusing on a particular niche because then you can build relationships with the players in that industry, not just the PR people, but the media people who follow everyone in that industry, the major corporations, the major players in that industry. Build relationships with those people. You don't simply want to badger PR people. That's only one part of it. Build relationships with the media and the PR people will like you even more. Build relationships with the CEOs, the entrepreneurs in that space, and they're going to be recommending you. They may say, why are we hiring this PR firm? This kid Smithers seems like he's promoting us all the time. Get him on the account. Build relationships, connect with people on LinkedIn, on Twitter X, on Instagram, any social media platform that you already like and you already use that to build relationships with people in a particular industry. And by build relationships, I don't mean just write them an email saying, hey, I'm looking for a job. Can you hire me? Can you take an hour out of your day to meet with me? That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about learning what they do, learning about their interest, learning about what they're focusing on, making insightful comments, asking intelligent questions that would be of interest to their audience. These are all things that will build your reputation and attract followers, connections for you. The most powerful way to go into a meeting, a job interview at a public relations firm or a public relations department in a major corporation is not with a resume. It's with them looking at your LinkedIn, say, oh my God, this person has a lot more connections than I do. And I've been in the industry for 20 years. Wow, this person already is connected to this reporter we've been pitching lately and one of our competitors and these important trade publications. That's the most important resume you can have in the public relations world today. Now, there was a time when anyone in PR sort of took an oath of, I'm going to be behind the scenes. The spotlight deserves to be entirely on the client. Well, let me tell you, those days are over. So often, if you want to advance in public relations, you have to be the spokesperson for that client, for that company, for that brand. So it's never too early to start positioning yourself as an articulate spokesperson. It's not enough to be able to write a press release. Anyone can do that. Any computer can do that with ChatGPT. But you can distinguish yourself by really talking about something in a compelling way. You may want to be an influencer. You may want to join the Amazon influencer program or TikTok or Walmart, doing something where you're really thinking strategically about how can I shape messages to benefit a client, to benefit selling a particular product or service. You need to think of yourself first and foremost as a connector and as a media company. Because as you're building a presence on social media, you need to think of it as this is a way for you to communicate, not just send out messages in an old style broadcast network. Look at me, look how great I am, look at my brilliant quote card. No, it's got to be two-way communications where you are building relationships with people in your niche, in your industry, with a part of them being public relations executives. But keep in mind, public relations executives are only valuable because of their relationships with people in the media, with clients, with customers, their understanding of an industry, and their ability to craft messages. Now, here's where your creativity is really going to help you. If you are posting daily on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, interesting ideas about your industry that show how clever you are with interesting titles, but not just things that capture attention and clickbait. I'm talking about interesting ideas of relevance to people in your industry. Some of them can be purely about public relations tactics, things you've observed. Some of it might be you saying how much you like and appreciate and recommend other people's public relations efforts. But some of what you post needs to be purely about the state of the industry you're in, positive trends you see, exciting things for the industry going into the future. When you position yourself as a thought leader who also happens to be a great spokesperson, who also happens to be great at articulating messages and formulating messages, who also has relationships with people and the media and all the other stakeholders, you become highly valuable to public relations firms, to corporations, corporate communication departments, and you never know. These days, it might be possible to bypass that whole first step of your career of working and toiling away in the back room for a PR firm or corporate communications department. You might have people reaching out to you directly saying, hey, we'd like to hire you right now. What is your monthly fee? And that can be a great way of doing it. Now, you may decide you want to work for a big company, really learn fundamentals from people who've been in the business for years. That's okay. But there's nothing wrong with starting your own freelance business. That was virtually impossible when I started way back in 1985. It's very possible right now. You can do it. This doesn't make you less attractive to a PR firm thinking of hiring you or a corporate communications department. It makes you more attractive because the only thing PR firms love more than someone who can craft messages well, deal with relationships with clients well, become a spokesperson if needed, understanding media, having relationships with the media. There's only one thing they like more: the ability of someone who's not afraid to look a client prospect in the eye and ask them for money to get them to become a client. If you have your own freelance business, even if it only makes $500 a month, you're showing people, yeah, you have entrepreneurial zeal in you. That's highly attractive to most PR firms and corporate communications departments. So you have nothing to lose. So rather than just sending out resumes hour after hour to PR firms, which is mostly a waste of time, you can be building a revenue stream, building more actual real life experience with corporations, and B, now you already have ways of talking to people organically, not just here's my resume, where's the HR department. That's the absolute worst way to get a job pretty much anywhere these days, but especially in the public relations world. So I wish you luck. There are a lot of exciting things going on in the public relations field. I don't consider myself a full-time member of the PR community anymore, but you know what? These days, everyone, every CEO, every startup founder, every expert, author, whether you produce books or online courses, everyone has to think about and practice public relations on a daily basis. So as a career starting point, it's a fantastic, fantastic grounding. Good luck. Hi, everybody. I'm TJ Walker. Thanks for joining me today. We're just doing a quick little warm up here. And hello to my friends on TikTok. If you want to see what we're talking about today, and I realize you saw a microphone there. Why is that? It's because we're broadcasting from our studios here in South Florida. We have a 3-camera shoot and a full studio, but I can't connect my StreamYard, where we're streaming across all these platforms, to TikTok. So I just have you on my phone. But if you want to be a part of today's conversation and you want to participate, ask questions, even appear on camera, you can do so. You need to come on over to my YouTube channel and type, and you'll just click on the button for StreamYard, and you can join us. You can see our guests. We've got some exciting guests coming up in our third hour today. So a very, very prominent, skilled speechwriter. So we'll be talking about the art and craft of speech writing later today. Now, Thursdays are a little bit different here at the TJ Walker Success Show because we break things up a little. We have our normal session starting at 9. We cut off around 9:45 because we have a private session just for my online students that start at 10 o'clock. Then we come back at 10:45 and we go on till around noon typically. So if you have questions or you're seeing this on demand or you don't get to us, come back later and we will be live. So I want to do something right now that I was going to say is a little bit different from what we do here, but actually not. This is a workshop. I'm here answering your questions about communication skills because that is our purpose here, to help make you more successful in life by increasing your communication skills and to increase your confidence in your communication skills. We also take you behind the scenes so you see exactly what's going on in a studio, in a workshop of a full-time professional communicator and a full-time professional content creator. So you don't just see the finished product. Yes, I have slick, polished, edited with music and graphics and B-roll videos on all my social media channels, short form, long, every day. But we show you how we make them right here. What I just did at the beginning of this session was an example of that. I stumbled maybe once or twice, will probably be edited out. But you saw the rough draft right there. We're going to do more rough drafts. So actually, now that I think about it, I'm going to do a short form right now on the very same topic. How do you get your first job in public relations? Okay. And let me think about that a minute. And if you have questions, I will take them. Now, we do have time. And in just a moment, I am going to be asking your feedback. I'm going to be showing you sort of a new opening credits montage that we're going to use for this show. It's a rough draft. I still want your feedback on what you like. Okay, so I'm going to go to camera 2 for, I forgot to change my focus. So this just shows you, by the way, this is wide frame. So you see my computer, you see lights. This is not how we normally frame it. I simply forgot to change the lens. So now I'm going to zoom in. And the advantage of this is you just see the curtain looking up. So we're doing this to simulate kind of what it looks like when I'm on stage giving speeches, because the data show that YouTube people and other people on other social media like it when they hear me giving public speaking tips when it appears I'm on a stage in front of people. Now, we don't try to fool you. I'm very upfront about this, but that's why we have this angle. Okay, so let's hop right in. I'm going to try to do in less than 30 seconds a short form on how do you get a job in public relations. Okay. What's the best way of getting an entry-level job in public relations today in 2024? It's not a resume. Don't even write one. It's not getting a degree in public relations. Don't bother. Save your money. It's about building relationships right now in a particular niche, a particular industry, with everyone who matters in that industry. Yes, the PR executives. Yes, the media, the trade publications that cover that industry. Yes, the entrepreneurs, the startup founders in that industry. Build relationships with them, not by emailing them, say, hey, give me a job. No. Comment on what they post, like them, rebroadcast, retweet what they're doing. Give value, build relationships, build a network. That is the best way to get a PR job today. Okay, so that's a little bit harder, that topic in a 30-second one. So sometimes we do those and I look at it and think, it just didn't quite work. We're not going to use that. Other times I think, okay, that's going to be helpful to people. If you have any opinions on that, let me know. And I see we have a lot of people joining us. Actually, I never realized this, but the StreamYard platform we're on does tell us where people are watching. So I can see when folks are on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on X, on Twitch and other places. So it's nice to see so many people from around the globe. And we already have many, many hundreds joining us on TikTok. So hello to Chest, to Christopher, to Cav Scout. Gunter just joined us, who I believe has been with us lately a number of times. Betty Grace has joined us. Tim Lopez has joined us. So hello to so many new friends and old friends on TikTok. Again, if you have any questions that relate to communication skills, you can post them. I will confess I often miss them if they're posted on TikTok. So the best way to get my attention is to come on over to our YouTube channel. You can post comments there. I'm guaranteed to see them. I'm guaranteed to respond. And with one push of the button on StreamYard, you can actually join us on camera, ask questions, participate, debate, tell me why you think I'm wrong for that matter. So we've got a lot of different ways for you to connect with us today. If this is your first time, hi, I'm TJ Walker. This is the TJ Walker Success Show. We're all about helping you become more successful in life by boosting your communication skills and by improving your confidence in your communication skills. So there I am talking about it, and it's kind of boring and tedious for me to have to explain it all the time. So one of my goals that I've been working on with my team is sort of making this more like a show. Now, I'm not expecting people to think of this as a show like Succession or your favorite show on cable TV or on a streaming service in your country. But what I do mean is something that doesn't have the look and feel of just another Zoom call, because that's not what we want. So what we've done is a rough draft of a they call it a stinger sometimes, an opening montage. It's sort of a promo video. So what I'm going to show you here is a rough draft of that. It's getting better. I don't think it's quite there yet. So I'm going to play this video for you, and I want your feedback. I'm not looking for praise unless you genuinely think it's great. I don't think it's perfect yet. I think it's getting closer. So here's the concept. What I'm looking for and how I envision this show is that I will start off hopping right in, trying to give you something of substance of value, because that is what most TV shows do these days. You know, if you watch Succession or any other show, they just launch right into it, have some conversation, something dramatic, interesting, and then sometimes even 10 minutes in, they play the opening credits. Now, these are not going to be credits, but this is what's going to identify the show. VL writes, Twin Peaks red curtains, play this backwards. I'm not quite sure what that means. I do remember an old TV show called Twin Peaks. And Janice says, a short drop in at the TJ Walker Success Weekday Live to start the day. About starting out in PR, make connections, add value. Thanks for inviting us, TJ. VL says, time to change the scenery. It's interesting you say that. I was just thinking to myself a half an hour ago, wow, I haven't had any complaints about the set lately, and I've had a lot of compliments. That's great. VL, I do appreciate your comments. Here's the one thing I found about whether it's a video backdrop or any backdrop is it's hard to do anything that doesn't generate a lot of criticism. I still haven't figured out how to get these lights to stay exactly what I want. But I am basically happy with how the set looks as far as getting positive feedback from people. And I don't want to invest a lot of time and money just to make change when it won't necessarily make it better. But I'm always open for suggestions of what you think could make it better. I mean, one thing is it's really designed more to look at this angle. And what's happened over time is, especially as I do interviews, is I'm spending more and more time in front of camera 3. This is our main camera 1, which allows me to demonstrate, move around the way a speaker would. Just a greater range that makes it seem like a bigger production show, because most shows you're not going to see someone from the knees up. So that's why we've done that, but I'm open to your thoughts on how to make it better. Okay, so I'm going to play this video, and folks on TikTok, you're not going to be able to see it. So if you want to see it, I'm going to need you to come on over to the YouTube channel. And I realize TikTok doesn't like me saying that. They want to keep people on their platform, as everyone does. So, that's the wrong file. Let me pull up the correct file. And okay, I've got it in a different file. So right now it's about 30 seconds long. If I'm speaking for 3 hours in a live show, which we typically do, I think 30 seconds is not too long. Again, the idea is we wouldn't necessarily play it for the first 5 minutes, even 7 minutes of a show, but something that helps build the brand and gives people a sense of what it's about without me having to say it, I think is really the goal. That's what we're doing. Once we come up with this sort of 30-second opening stinger, opening credits, then what I want to do is come up with like a 7-second version that I can use for my regular videos that are often 4, 5, 7, 8 minutes long. Because what I don't want to do And all the people who are really good at giving best practices all say the same thing. They say, don't give some big, long opening credits. Nobody cares. You want to deliver value. And then if you want a 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10-second identifier, that's okay. So let me go ahead and pull this up. I'm going to share this so you can see. Again, apologies to my friends on TikTok. If you want to see this and hear it clearly, this video opening credits, you'll need to come over to my YouTube channel. You can find it on YouTube just by typing in TJ Walker Success, and you will find it there. Okay, I'm going to share my screen, share audio, share audio system, share. And now I'm going to play this. I have seen it, I guess, a couple of times. I'm still formulating my thoughts. And Janice, VL, I would love your opinions and others watching. Again, the concept is I want something that tells people what the show's about, gets them excited about it, makes them realize, okay, this is essentially a high-end value-produced thing. It's not just somebody who turned a camera on and started rambling. So that's what we're after with this. So let me go ahead and play this, and then I want to hear what you think about it. Welcome to the TJ Walker Success Channel, where we empower you to master the art of communication. Join us as we guide you through every facet of effective communication. Apologies for that. From personal conversations to commanding something wrong. So I know I have the audio correct for my StreamYard, but sometimes the audio setting is on something else for the computer. So I might not be able to hear it. And so there's a chance you heard that and I didn't. Yes, I see what I did wrong now. Okay. So now we're going to go ahead and play this again. Go ahead and make it full screen. Okay, so several of you have written and said there's no audio. So whatever I did in the settings there, I messed it up. Apology. Speaker. Well, let me try it. Let me try again. Let me stop sharing and just start from scratch. So that time I did hear it, but let me share it again. Apologies to those of you nice enough to watch and give thoughts. By the way, if you're getting any value out of what I said earlier, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. It does send signals to YouTube and TikTok and other places that, hey, maybe we should share this with other people. Okay, so let's go to, I'm going to share screen. I'm sharing audio. I am sharing the screen, sharing audio again. I'm hitting share. I've added it. I'm now going to double check my settings for my audio. And everything appears to be in sync. So I'm going to play this again right now. I realize you're seeing a black screen. Let me know right away if you do hear it or you don't hear it. Welcome to the TJ Walker Success Channel, where we empower you to master the art of communication. Join us as we guide you through every facet of effective communication. From personal conversations to commanding stages, we've got you covered. Whether it's 3 people, 30 people, or 300, or even millions on national TV, will equip you to shine in every spotlight. Get ready to amplify your voice, boost your confidence, and unleash your potential. Tune in and transform your communication skills today. Okay, were you able to hear that? And I realize my TikTok friends, you might have heard a little bit of that, but you didn't see what we're talking about. So I would need you to come over to the YouTube channel. Let me pull that off a minute. Okay. So we've had some commentary come, but I still don't know, were you able to hear it? So VL and unconventional, can you let me know if you heard it? Because I do want your opinions on how it looks, but also how it sounds. So we're getting some commentary. This is exactly the sort of commentary I was hoping to get. And by that, I don't mean praise. VL was saying it has the vibe of a future advert in a late 90s or 90s sci-fi movie. So, okay, and you did hear it that time. Great. So that's interesting that you would say that. Now that I've seen it again and hearing your comments, I think you're right. I think you're on to something. That is an insightful analysis. And it is exactly what I do not want. That's not what I want people to feel when they're coming in. Let's say they've just stumbled across my show. They've watched for a couple of minutes. They thought, oh, that guy said something interesting or useful. What is this? They come on. I don't want to throw them for a loop and have them think, yeah, is this some 1990s science fiction movie? So that's not what I want. And Via also says edited like the 1980s. Janice agrees. Says, I see what you see. So we've had some other commentary come in. Now, Janice does say the backdrop is fine, although you might want to change up the plants for flowers as we go into the summer. Okay, so that is a good idea. I mean, these, by the way, are fake plants. You probably can tell. And what we have here is also a fake plant, because the last thing I need is another task about reminding myself to have to water plants. And we run a very lean ship here. There's not some huge staff of production assistants running around. But I'll look into the idea of sprucing up the place with a little more colorful plants, some flowers. You know, when we first were building the set, I did have a very colorful spread. We just couldn't figure out where to put it. It was too overwhelming, but perhaps something smaller might work. VL says, I think big channels shouldn't change, but smaller ones that want to grow should. Well, I'm humble enough to admit I'm a small channel, so I do want to grow. I do want to experiment. That's what we're trying to do. Now, back to the commentary on this particular promo. VL says, you're leaning into that vibe, double down. Are you saying the vibe of it being sort of science fiction-y and 1990s and old style editing, you're doubling down on your criticism? I'm not quite sure what you mean by that. Janice has heard it improving, would suggest having women speakers within the first 5 seconds. I do agree with that. And because we have a bunch of women in the video, but it's towards the end. And I don't want people to think it's like an afterthought. So it needs to be in the beginning. And Janice says, plastic flowers in the summer, smiley face. I don't know if by that you mean that's ridiculous or tacky. I certainly don't like plastic flowers in my home. That's a battle I've lost and we'll talk about another time. But for a set, when people are not actually here, I think it can be fun. So here's my dilemma. I'm trying to figure out, where do I go from here on this opening segment? Bill says, I mean, make it even more like a future advert from a late 1980s or 90s sci-fi movie. Okay, but why, I guess, is the question. Part of what I want people to do is to realize, hey, This is, in fact, a live show. We're talking about things today because if you go to YouTube or any other social media platform, but especially YouTube, and you type in, how do I give a great speech, for example, or how do I get over being nervous about a speech? You'll see some great videos, but many of them are 15 years old. And a lot of them still have good advice. I have videos 15 years old, but some of them have dated advice. Sometimes the video just looks older. I want people to realize this is live, this is fresh, because I believe that what distinguishes what I'm trying to do here is that I am creating the longest, biggest, largest, loudest forum that's live 12 hours a week talking about communication skills. So I'm not quite sure why I would want any kind of vibe that makes people think of the 1980s or 1990s. Not that those were bad decades. Those are some good decades for me. So I'm still at a loss. If any of you know of people who are just skilled at crafting this type of a video, I mean, this is an art form. Making a movie is an art form. Making a trailer for a movie, completely different art form. There are people in Hollywood who've never made a movie in their life, but they're great at making the trailers for movies. It's a different art forms. Now, this is not a trailer for a movie. This is I still don't really know what to call it. It's an opening segment. It's not opening credits because I'm not telling people my name and the name of editors and all that. It's not that kind of thing. But it is sort of an opening identifier for a show. We are here live for 3 hours a day, Monday through Thursday, for the most part. Sometimes longer. We went about 4.5 hours yesterday. And so that's what I'm looking for. And I came into this morning thinking, okay, we've got the message right. We got a lot of things right. We could probably use most of this. Hearing your feedback kind of makes me feel like we need to start over from square one. Now, I would ask Janice and VL and anyone else watching, what did you think of the message? Because the message is something I put a lot of thought into. Well, VL says YouTube is 70% thumbnail, 25% title, 5% content. I don't disagree with that entirely, but that's not the point of this. The point of this is I'm trying to create a sustainable long-form live show. Today, it's on 8 platforms. Who knows? 5 years from now, I might not even want to be on YouTube. I might want to be on 50 platforms. So if someone comes to the show, I want to give them a sense of, oh, this is what it's about. Oh, I can relate to that. Oh, you know what? I got to give a talk to 5 people in a business pitch Thursday. Maybe I should pay attention. Or, long term, my next promotion, I could see myself speaking at our annual trade conference. And I see this guy speaking in front of 300 people. I want to let people know what it's about. Let them know that they're in the right place. Let them know that there's going to be some value for them. So I don't discount the importance of titles and thumbnails. There's no doubt about it. I don't know that I really agree that, I mean, if your content only mattered 5%, then in theory, you can have awful, awful content and still be wildly successful. There's certainly some people who are successful. It's not my cup of tea, but I do see that they're consistently putting out something that a hardcore audience of people, a community really like, and they want to watch it again and again and again and tell people and share friends. I mean, my daughter watches all sorts of funny little skits from other kids. It's not really my thing, but she's watching and she's really laughing. So they're making content that by the standards of my daughter is very high. So I think the most successful people put in a tremendous amount of time creating great content. Now, I'm no Mr. Beast, but Mr. Beast, for example, famously has said he spent $1 million on his thumbnail or some huge number on a thumbnail. Yeah, but he spends many, many, many millions of dollars for any 10-minute video he does. So he's still spending the vast majority of his time, money, energy, effort on the content. Yes, they'll do all sorts of testing on titles and A/B testing and redoing thumbnails. Yeah, they'll do all of that. But I think you have to have it all. I really do. I want to say a special hello to all of our friends joining us today on TikTok. Thank you so much. If you want to talk to me, I can't do it live on TikTok today, but all you have to do is come over to StreamYard, and you can access that by going to my YouTube channel. And that is just go to YouTube, type in TJ Walker Success Channel, and that's how you will find us. And with one link, you can be right on screen. You can also see and hear the guest we're talking to. You'll be able to see our full studio and look at the other things we're talking about, because I just have you on my cell phone. So unfortunately, you miss out on 95% of the good stuff. So this has been helpful to me to kind of get other people's perspective on this video, because I will confess to you, I didn't think it was perfect, but I thought it was something we could work on. Now I'm thinking we've got to really step back and start from scratch on it. If anyone has suggestions, if you are an editor for this sort of thing, or you know someone, or you've worked with someone, then please let me know. I would very much appreciate it. Okay, we got a lot of fun stuff coming up. Some of you I know are my students from places like Udemy. We'll be coming live at the normal time, 10 a.m. Eastern time today. That will be just on our private Facebook page. At 10:45, we'll be coming up and going live again, taking your questions, and also be interviewing a very famous and successful speechwriter. I do see that FitBrain has written and says, are you a marketing guy? Well, yes and no. I would argue anyone these days who has a small business, whether you're an author, an expert, a trainer, a consultant, a speaker, an online course creator, makes you a marketing person. You might not be a marketing person in the sense of you have a full-scale agency and you are officially hired as the marketing agency of record for Coca-Cola and companies like that. But everybody these days has to be involved with marketing at some level, unless you are already in a big company and you have a very, very specific job. Even there, you have to market yourself to others in your company. You have to market yourself essentially to your boss so they continue to see value from you. So no, I'm not a full-time ad maker, for example, but I am involved in marketing the whole concept of how you improve communication skills, public speaking skills, media skills. That's what I do. I have my own company and I sell products and online courses and workshops and speeches and some of these books in the background. So I'm involved in marketing my own expertise, which I do think almost everyone in the world is at some point. If you don't market your expertise and you don't have expertise that's instantly valued in the marketplace, like a medical degree or a law degree behind you, then quite often you end up with a minimum wage job if you're not marketing yourself to people, demonstrating your value. Okay. And FitBrain says, yes, everybody has to understand marketing in this day and age. Facts. Good point. Other comments came in and said not optimal. Okay, I'm not quite sure what you mean by that. If you would like to elaborate, please let me know. And I apologize, we are out of time for our first segment. So I apologize for not getting to some of the comments on TikTok. If you want to join me again, we'll be back right here in 1 hour, 10:45 a.m. Eastern time today. I'll be right back on all of these platforms. Thanks so much. I will see you soon. And please If you're watching this on demand, leave comments, leave questions, and subscribe to the channel on whatever platform you're on now. Thanks.